Galway United assistant manager Jon Daly, it's been a whirlwind few days.
No, it has. It's probably been a few weeks. Conversations with John have been going on a couple of weeks, so I had to obviously have some good conversations with my family first and make sure they were comfortable with it as well, because I have been away for a number of years from them. So yeah, it was just once we had kind of made the decision, then it was fairly quick in moving forward.
You were straight at it. You arrived Sunday. United played Rovers on Sunday evening.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I had a part in that group, but I probably didn't, to be honest with you. Obviously, just it was nice to be there and to kind of get an idea of how the group prepare and how they work, and yeah, a fantastic result. It was a really, really solid performance. A typical probably performance of what I remember of playing against Galway. So yeah, it was a good point, and probably unfortunate not to have 3 on the night.
When you come into a place, John, and obviously you've been involved in professional football for 2-3 decades at this stage in various capacities, but when you come into a new place, and is the perception different to the reality when you come into maybe a new club, and what you're seeing maybe Galway United from a different lens?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think obviously when you do your analysis and you do your prep from the outside, you're obviously watching. You maybe get to watch a game or two live, and you've obviously you do your homework with the video analysis. But then when you actually come in and you're working with players, you do see them differently. You get to know really what their strengths and weaknesses are, rather than perception of what they may be. So I think what I've kind of seen, we had a training day the next day where the group that probably needed to trained, and there was some good quality there, and it was good to see. So I'm looking forward to working with the group, and if I can help them out, that's my job. That's why I'm here. I'm here to try and help them the best way I can, and to try and improve them if we can, and to try and help the team get results, and try and climb the table.
It's a nice thing, John, to come in maybe for 2.5 months, a little project, if you want to call it that. It's a nice little thing to embrace.
No, 100%. I've been following the league. I've been watching the games on a Friday night, and obviously a fan of the league since I've come in. I think the quality that's within the league is very, very good, and there's some really talented players within the league, and it's something that if I'm going to watch games back home in Scotland, I'm talking to people about the league and about the players, and trying to promote the league as well. I think it is definitely a league that continues to grow, and as you said, it's a nice project now for the next couple of months to try and get myself get my teeth into it, and to try and help the club to progress.
The league as a whole, John, you obviously spent your career in England and Scotland predominantly, but an industry exists in those places. In the League of Ireland, is there a chance that it can develop further, in your opinion? You've obviously seen it as a manager, now as an assistant manager. The League of Ireland, huge potential there.
There is, and you'd like to hope that it will continue to grow. I think there's a lot of good plans kind of in place at clubs individually, and I think collectively the facilities obviously need to improve. I think everybody, when you talk about League of Ireland, that's probably one of the first touching points that people will talk about. But the quality is there. The players that are coming through, the academy setups, there are opportunities for them now to break into first team football and get exposure to that first team football, probably before going to the UK or going abroad to play. And I think when I first went away as a player, I was 15 years of age and I went away. You obviously can't do that now, so you do get opportunities to go and break into a first team if you're performing kind of week in, week out in the academy setup. Then there's definitely opportunities for you.
Your relationship with John Caulfield, obviously a man you came up against, but you referenced that you spoke to him a couple of times in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think obviously I've prior to obviously speaking to him over the phone, it would have been just conversations pre-game, post-game. Always had a lot of time for John. He's got vast experience in the league as a young kind of coach, a young manager at the time. You're always looking to sponge information off managers and people like Jon who've been around a long time, and you know, it's not easy to have a career in football management, and for Jon to be around as long as he has shows the mark of how good he is and what he's achieved. And so now, look, that's another big kind of part of me coming here, was to work with Jon and to try and learn myself, to try and teach myself different ways of doing things, and trying to be, you know, if I'm as successful as Jon was, then I'll do well.
The FAI Cup, obviously, a couple of years ago, you had success with St. Pat's. Jon has won it with Cork City. Friday's game, a tricky fixture in many respects against Salthill Devon. There's a lot of factors at play, but just the FAI Cup and its relevance.
Yeah, it's a fantastic trophy, and I think, you know, it's an opportunity. Like, to go and win a league campaign, you need to win a lot of football matches. To win, you know, an FAI Cup, you need to get through, I think it's 4 rounds, you know, or to get to a final, I think. So, you know, there's a great opportunity for clubs throughout the land to get to cup finals every year. It's probably, you know, compete in the league, and, you know, a good positive cup run is probably the top of most managers, most players' list. As you said, come Friday, it's you know, we're playing against probably the lowest ranked team in the competition, and, you know, however, it is you know, tinged with a lot of ex-Galway United players, and there's a little bit of an edge to it. So I think it's important that we're switched on, and that we make sure we bring the levels that we brought on Sunday against Shamrock Rovers, and we treat it as if we're playing Shamrock Rovers, to give ourselves the best opportunity to go through to a cup quarter-final.
Finally, Jon, just Galway United, the potential that's here, your assessment on that?
Yeah, as I said, I was at the game on Sunday. I know the players from playing against them. I've worked with a couple of them. I've worked with Bulger at Pats, worked with Bobby Burns at Hearts. So it's trying to get a better understanding of what their strengths, weaknesses are, how they take on information, how they learn. It's obviously something I need to develop very, very quickly, because I'm only here a short period. So, but what I've seen in the kind of short period, there's definitely scope to improve, and there's definitely scope to make sure we pick up the results that we need between now and the end of the season, to make sure that we're climbing the table come the end of the season.
Thanks and best of luck.
Thank you.
Cheers. Good man. Thanks a million.